members of the press, and fellow citizens. We welcome you all to this press conference organized by Gambians Against Looted Assets. But to start, we want to state that accountability is the bedrock of democracy, and transparency is not a privilege, but a right, and justice must be timely, visible, and complete if it's going to mean something at all. In 2017, the Gambia established the GANA Commission of Inquiries to investigate the illegal enrichment and financial misconduct of the former President Yahya Jammeh and his associates. The commission uncovered widespread corruption and recommended that over 200 properties, including corporate holdings and bank accounts, be freezed. This effort was part of the broader transitional justice commitment under the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparation Commission, which documented systematic human rights violations and highlighted economic crimes as pillar of regime's oppression mechanism. The final TRRC report affirmed restoration and transparency as essential in national healing. These two commissions, funded by Gambian taxpayers, provided the legal and moral basis for redress and for reclaiming the future. However, recently, Gambians were shocked by an investigative report from the Republic entitled "The Assets of the Gambia's Former Dictator Go for a Song," which exposes serious irregularities in the disposal of recovery assets. According to the report, public assets were sold below market value through apparent channels and without any public audit. In a statement, on the same time, the government confirmed that assets disposal follow a two-stage process. The GANA Commission followed a ministerial task force and promised to publish a full report in due course. We acknowledge this promise, but in due course is not acceptable when the public assets are at stake. Delay in transparency is denied in accountability. Therefore, we ask the following questions. Which assets were sold? Who bought them and at what price? How were the buyers selected? And where did the procedure go through? For these transactions bypass proper procedures, serve as political and personal interests, there must be consequences and heads must roll where wrongdoings occur. We, GALA, will hold a peaceful protest to advance these demands. Under our constitution, freedom of assembly is lawful and principal right. We have requested for a permit, and unfortunately, we want to inform you that the office of the IGP this afternoon called the group, and then this is the letter addressed. Request for permit to hold a peaceful demonstration. Office of the IGP of the police acknowledge receipt of your letter dated May 6th, 2025 in relation to the caption above. We are pleased to inform you that your permit request is not approved. Kindly accept assurance of the Inspector General of Police in maintenance of peace and security. Therefore, as we said, with or without permit, is our fundamental right to protest, and we will protest. And what inspired this protest? We want to ask the following questions and demand to be met. First, immediate publication of a full list of all seized and stolen properties, including buyer's name and final sale price. Full disclosure of allocations of proceedings, including any payment to intermediaries and agencies. Independent public oversight of asset disposal process by the National Assembly, the National Audit Office, and then civil society representatives. Immediately, the Gambia government should withdraw its nomination of the former Minister of Justice, Abubakar Batambedu, to the ICC court. We call on the President of the Republic of the Gambia to immediately address the nation regarding these unforgettable and forgivable findings that threaten our collective progress as a people. Therefore, this protest, to be clear, is not political. It's a call for truth, justice, and restoration of public trust. We invite all Gambians, students, workers, survivors of injustice, and patriots to stand with us. This is a defining moment for our democracy and governance, and in the work of the GANA Commission and the TRRC must not fade into scary. We cannot rebuild our nation on the foundation of impunity. We cannot honor victims with mere words. We must act, and we must act now. Therefore, regardless of being permitted to protest under the Public Order Act, the IGP have no right whatsoever to deny citizens from peaceful assembly. We are not gonna be irresponsible. We are responsible citizens, and tomorrow by 11 o'clock we are going to gather at the National Assembly to march to the AG chambers to deliver our petition that carries our message, our demands, and the petition. And this cannot be stopped, and this will not be stopped. Thank you.
Association of Gambians against loot assets, right? There are loot assets and a lot of things going on in town, but you know, Gambian ne luko gena tahamu niti juk bediwa moy report bo xamne genana leral bo xamne on put ken ci Gambian bi ne njuut jaaj jarna ci affaire assets of Yaya Jammeh how naka lañ ko disposer parce que Janneh commission moo daan investigate ba pare nga am assets yoo xam ne nguur bi decide ne dinañ ko jaay loolu nag num demee moom lañ nettali by the Republic newspaper bu ñoo wax Republic ba dëkk bi yëpp di laajte lii naka la mun a xewee ñun tam dafa mel ni loolu moo ñu tax a jóg man moom xam ngeen ne maa ngi ci woon for 8 years di ko wax di ko binda right di ko woy so li ngeen gis nekkul loo xam ne dañ topp rek di wax dafa nekk loo xam ne dafa yàgga Gambian si di laajte boobu nag Omar statement buñ fi jógee the purpose of that statement mooy ñu ngi continuer si laajte boobu right ne sun right la as Gambians am access to information mooy boo xam ne parliamenti Adama Barrow right or parliamenti Gambia pass nañ ko government Adama Barrow ñu pass bill be ne access to information that Gambian képp koo xam ne yaa ngi si réew mi danga am right pour am any information boo xam ne dafa important for the taxpayer. So in that spirit ñun loolu lañ jóg nag parce que report bi buñ génnee depuis léegi dégganguñ dara si nguur mi officially am na luñ dégga ñu ne waaw within a reasonable time or whatever xamuñ kan la dinañ publish list ban list bi nga xam ne moo woone right asset bu nekka wala bagage bu nekka kan moo ko jënda list boobu nag ba tey ñu ngi koo xaar waaye dañ gis ne tam dañ war a jóg pour demonstrate nekkul ne pour create any trouble peacefully right si jàmma right ak naka si jàmma ak si lu dem si yoon pour wone Gambian si ne am na loo xam ne am na soxla si ñun ñëpp xam ngeen ne report bi bu mu génnee ba Tambadou justice minister waxoon na ne assets yu fa nekka ci report bi dem na almost 300 plus properties 340 something million dollars different from Dallases. So reasonable people say almost $1 billion missing. You know, it's a generational wealth. That is a generational wealth. So, bufegene generational wealth is missing. We must ask a generational question. And this is a generational press conference. If $1 billion is missing, and then you report procedure of how they are disposed. We are talking about the Republic only, not negudlu alaji kurang ham. No. Bobu indi wut ñu fi lan mo lo xamne leral nañ ko ci report bi mom la ci wax. So ci ndi lolu nak mu joxe mu ne dañ wara xam sun statement bi dañ wara xam fan la tolu asset bu nekk kan moko jaay kan moko jënda ñaata lañ ko jëndé value bi naka lañ ko amé because ñooñu critical questions len so len holé report bi the receiver was Augustus Prom. It's a prominent accounting firm in the Gambia for 20-30 years of practice. Why we saw in the report Augustus Prom, there were people complaining in the commission he gets 10% is too much. You know, Batambe his term expired, they remove him. Why then indicate and call him? It's a one-man company. How can a one-man company dispose of all the assets of a generation? Alpha Capital, established in 2017, started selling 1 year later $1 billion of assets. There are questions to be answered. The former Justice Minister himself said in his statement to the Republic, yeah, if I help my family get a plot of land between Jembe Hotel and Palmarima, I didn't get it for myself as Justice Minister, but if I call and follow up the people doing that procedure, then yes, it might have been a conflict of interest. Come on, journalists. The Justice Minister already admitted to conflict of interest. But we are saying that is more than just one man's statement of admission of conflict of interest. It is incumbent, an obligation on every Gambian. Ñun ñep dañ wara gis ne alal yi Alpha Capital ñu go establish 1 year ñu pay ko a commission of $89 million to sell a few assets. That's just what we can see. Augustus Prom put aside an established firm. A government should deal with established firms. Loolu lañ nekk di wax. Justice Minister Chibopam admit na ne they withdraw the established firm and they brought in a new firm that was established 1 year with no audited accounts, no track record. Ci loolu lañ nekk tey nag. Yena dégg statement bi ne every Gambian has a right to peaceful assembly. Adama Barrow depuis buñ ko sànnile carte 2017 loolu mooy sun Gambians mi sun d'accord ak moom. Ne képp kooku nekk ci Gambia bi am nga a right to peaceful assembly. There is no violent person here. I see only responsible people. Young men and women who are independent, going about their daily lives, not dependent on any particular person, right? And asking for transparency. You know, Barrow bugut lendem. Te dinañ ko xam da Barrow bugana lendem. Da dega Barrow bugut lendem. Amna lu lendem. $1 billion is missing. Assets have been sold. Shares. Look at it. Let's get this story. Go back to the Republic. Gum Petroleum. 17% of a mayor company on paper. Sold to Social Security and other parastatals and took cash from them of 300 million. And here are people sitting online talking about small corruptions. But the GALA Commission itself was investigating why Yaya Jammeh and Social Security invested in Gum Petroleum. So that was a lesson. But then after the commission, we came back and repeated the same mistake to take the taxpayers' money and buy overvalued shares. 300 million. Just to give 10%, 30 million cut to a newly established accounting firm or investment firm. Well, we do sorry. Ñun ñëpp ñu fi am na suma yeneen guy ñu ngi wawa Omar leeral na rep. We have a right to peaceful protest. There's peaceful protest ba su fekkee ne daf ñoo sonal sa Gambian si ñu fa war nañ koo dégga above this room. The guy, the villager in Wellingara should know what is happening. That we have an inheritance of a whole generation. All the TDA is your inheritance. That land belongs to the people. If we let it go, our grandchildren will be renting. You will be in your grave, and your grandchildren will be renting. Some people say, why now? It is now that is the best time to talk about it. You cannot go and protest based on Mamadi Kurang's personal statement. Does it make sense? But you have an investigative report that gave the chance for the Justice Minister, for the investors, for the lead counsel who knows Augustus Prom. And the lead counsel, the Justice Minister Batambe say he don't know the Alpha Capital people, but the lead counsel of GALA Commission, Ami Bensouda, must have known them. There are more questions to be answered. Thank you very much.
Yamla folole diamo be banne Omar aning Alaji Mamar Kurang be media be tendola jam pour kana kamola press conference ninta ka a broadcast na diamo ke menti wolom ngine mem fo man esura ka woni english kan wolom komando groupe lo fenteda gala me alon ko ngal literol sa fenun kunu pour ka samba inspector general of police ya kaytan dala ko komando lokun komando news la findira from the republic kaytandi ko nafultinya menketa nu jane commission de men establish jan 2017 so ndella nyini karo be tara na da kusabalom laftala ka long ya jembela nafulul ya jembela sajiul ya jembela property ya wafu jomalia that is the only thing laftaka men nyini ka jang so laftala pour mansakunda through the ministry of justice I full list of bondina nyim bagasol nyim motor nyim kordal nyim ne asan ali asan jolal. So that is the whole sense of what we have here. So the latest one menkera science ay nga later also nang from the IG ay na pamito in denial. So until kum nga fanyam responsible people all living and it is our constitutional right to go outside to protest, which we are going to do tomorrow at 11 o'clock. So the media be invited laje, be funding be invited laje. This is not about politics. This is about the Gambia. Because na Bankola state be nyame nimang wuli nga diam. Nya fanyam time be sotola jambe be kala tumara keled. So to fight for our country, we need to stand firm. So Kamala Begamberol Bekuman La Soma by 11 o'clock, we all met at Banjul National Assembly. Peacefully. No insult, no nothing. We go to the minister and deliver our letter.
Just to state one thing, the purpose of this protest is not just for the assets. And to clear, those assets ceased to belong to Jame after 2016. They were state assets. And then also this protest is beyond just asset. This protest is about ensuring that our governance system is run on the account of accountability and transparency, honesty and integrity. So we'll take questions from the press. If you have any questions, any clarifications, we'll take questions quickly and then we will end the press conference. Thank you. Yes, so we have a very, very terrible government and that have covered this up. You see, the conversations doesn't start today. What Mustafa and then the Republic did was to have a systematic report. But the mismanagement of funds, sales of the Jame properties have been a conversation since 2017. And the government were never willing to release it. And then when Ba left, without accusation, Ba knew that he has an opportunity to finish what he has started and make a name for himself in the history of transitional justice in the world. But he ran away because he knows he will be messy if he completed to this day. Dauda came and Dauda cover up. Whether they are cooperative or not, and that's why we are here. We are going to put pressure on them. It's our fundamental human right to receive information from them, the Access to Information Act or law. And therefore, we are going to use that. We are going to use our fundamental right to take the streets to ensure that the list is released, accountability is assured, and heads roll for corruption, for lack of integrity, and for dishonesty in our governance system. Please, let me run. Taking the streets is a must, and we will go by the confinement of what the Public Order Act said, the possession and the use of Public Order Act. So there is no illegality in protest. In fact, that is a bad law, and protesting tomorrow is protesting against a bad law and against corruption. In this country for the past 8-9 years, but that is not it. Those who are trying to say the wrong timing, probably they want to also pick the public space. But there is nobody to determine what time I want to exercise my right to protest and speak on issues, and nobody can tell us what is urgent to protest against OFO. You see, Mamad Kura made mention that these are conversations that have been going on by allegations of individuals without a systematic report, no an investigation. That, remember, we're not saying a report by standard newspaper or point. We are saying an investigative report. Journalists know the difference between a normal report, a mouth to say, and an investigative report, right? And therefore, that is solid to tell us that it's high time we pursue. But remember, if you read the statement of the Ministry of Justice, they did not debunk the evidence base in the report. They just played with grammar. That shows there's something hidden that have been revealed by the Republic, and then the fact that is today we want to protest, we have all right to protest, and whoever think we don't have a right to protest can do a counter protest. That is human rights and democracy. This was enough to reparate and restore healing and confidence and trust, not just in the victims, but the general public. So our demands are that the list is out. And the good thing is, I don't know if I should trust this, I don't trust politicians, but we have seen a lot of people, including National Assembly members, that are raising questions and then demanding for answers. And it's for me, it's a joint force that at the end of the day, an investigation must be mounted. And then this is going to comprise of not just government, not just National Assembly, but every citizen, including victims of Yaya Jammeh, to ensure that investigations are done, wrongdoings are validated, and hates rule. Accountability is a must. And then the assets go beyond that. I've seen hills and islands. I don't know who bought those ones, but we'll get to the end of this matter. Yes.
Good afternoon. I'm Ismail Abba for the West Side Digital. I want to ask if you have submitted your permit at the AG campus. So if they haven't given you the full details about who has bought the permit, the lands and whatsoever, so now who's going to be your next step?
For me,